Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lethal Sales. Tonight's topic is technology. We're talking about AI. We're talking about bots. We're talking about how dealerships use them and how they can be more effective. And we're going to start with Larry.
Well, hey, I
18
just want to
seconds.
say this close after Thanksgiving, that I just want everybody to know, always grateful to have you tune in. And just one very positive, upbeat note, I hope. You're hearing such negative things today with DVs. The dealers are complaining they're piling up, and Amazon and Hyundai. Folks, we're going to get through this. If we pay attention and we see everything as an opportunity, we're going to win. It's these cliches about tough people last where tough times don't. They're cliches for a reason because they bear out. I mean, we're in America. We've been through depressions, world wars, and COVID. We'll be fine. It may weed out some people that haven't been paying attention and thought that the good times would never end, but everybody that's paying attention and has the right attitude and the right energy will be fine. As far as technology, my comment is what it always is. If we use it to enhance what we're doing, and to augment what we're doing, I'm all for it. If we attempt to replace human beings and use it as a crutch, it's terrible. But there's so many things we can do if we use it the right way that I think it's wonderful. Now, I do have the advantage of hanging with Peter Smith, who forgot more about technology than I'll ever learn. So, Peter, I hand it over to you, my brother.
Well, I'm glad you passed the baton to me, Larry, because your rotary phone, the cord is very, very short.
Well, not only that, I attempted to bring my sundial in and my abacus, but I was afraid everybody wouldn't be able to keep up.
Well, that's true. But you know what? They always work. They always work. Going through technology, this business has changed dramatically in the last 20 years. And then it accelerated at light speed in the last 2 years. I've never seen an acceleration of change in an industry as it has in the automotive industry in the last 2 years. With the advent of AI, we can almost, well, we have predictive learning, we have machine learning, we have predictive analysis, we have, you name any acronym that you wish to put out there, it's out there. And all it's going to do is make our business better, 100% better. There is no such thing that the humans are going to get replaced by AI or any of these issues, because the AI, as much as it has the capability, it still can't have the critical thinking and the reaction time that a human can.
Or the empathy.
Correct. And that's where it all comes into play. When we look at things, and I can't wait to hear from some of our panelists, because they have so much amazing technology at their fingertips, that if I had this when I was selling cars, I would be no longer a 40 car a month guy or a 50 car a month guy. I'd be 150, 200 a month car guy, because it is there. That technology is there to assist you to serve your clients, to serve your OEM, to serve your stakeholders and everyone else in that you engage with. We are in a position right now that is going to be just utopia. Forget about everything, that the negativity, as you said. Amazon coming in with Hyundai, you know what? What's that going to do? I was on a call this morning. We told 2 dealers to get on their computers and buy a Tesla. They bought a Tesla in 3 minutes, start to finish. And we said, how fast does your website get to the point of a pop-up? About 3 minutes. And hold on, so you bought a car in 3, but you can't get past the pop-up in 3. So we're going to be in a dramatic state of change, and it's going to be amazing. And with that, I want to yield to
Well,
Jeff
hold
Scherer.
on. We got a whole group of the conglomerate of automotive partners. We got Tony and Russell, and I've been beating up Tony to come back on the show, and he's on. How about if we jump to him, and then Tony, and then we'll run
Sure.
all our buddies, Mike Larkin and Wendy and Durran. But Tone, you're here. We appreciate you. What insights can you give us into technology? What you think's coming? What you think is going to be great? What you think we have to be aware of?
You know, it's interesting. I was one of those guys. Hopefully, you can hear me. I was
You're
one of the
perfect.
folks. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I was one of the people this morning that jumped in, and you know, as Peter said, in like 3 minutes, the car was there, and they said, okay, it'll be there on December 14th. So like 2 weeks. Now I didn't pull the trigger on it, but you know, no pop-ups. They didn't insist on a test drive. They didn't make me do a TO to a manager. I didn't have to go up on the roof to get my keys, and I didn't choke down a bad cup of coffee. And you know, literally buy now, and away I would have went. And I'm just trying to understand why dealers continue to think that they can do business the way they've always done it. And you know, even in the room, even in our morning room, there are dealers in there that are quote unquote progressive, but when the rubber hits the road, they back away in a hurry and go back to their old school ways, if you will. And I'm old school, guys. I've got 35 years in the business, so I remember throwing keys on the roof. Of course, I never did it. It was my friends that used to do that. But
Tony, if I can just throw a rebuttal or an answer, at least in my opinion, the reason they keep falling back is that the car business has one of the strongest business models on the planet. I mean, nobody really. I know younger people where everybody on this program couldn't wait to drive and get their license, get a car, and we're seeing a little less than that with some young people who don't want to have a car, which just blows my mind. I think everybody in this program was beyond excited when they got their first car. But the business model is strong. People come in, they know we're there, we need a car, and then you throw onto it the profit structure that resulted from COVID. So, you know, it's really hard to walk into a dealer and say, listen, how much do you usually make a month? Well, we net 70,000. How much did you net last month? 600,000. Well, you're doing it all wrong. It's really, really tough to convince people that are successful by accident and then mega successful, you know, to slow down. It's Tony. It's and I'll shut up after this. It's the parable of health. A million people can tell you, don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that, but you go to the doctor and he says, if you keep doing it, you're going to die, and all of a sudden you become a health nut.
well,
By the way,
it's interesting, Larry.
Either Jeff Scherer has a pet or he just grew a tail. I mean, I know this show brings wondrous results, but go ahead,
So
Tony.
what I was going to say to that is, as some of you already know, I have triplets, or they have me, and they're all going to be 17 next month. And 2 out of the 3 could care less about getting their driver's license. They've had their permits for like a year, and every time I go somewhere, I'm like, "Do you want to drive? You need to get your hours in." "Nah, you can drive, Dad." And so that's just a sign of where we're headed. I've got 3 soon to be 17-year-olds, and 2/3 of them could care less about getting their driver's license.
Tony, can I throw? I know I said I'd shut up, but you know I lie all the time. Let me throw one other note in. I was on a Clubhouse show, and they were asking what was important, and I, of course, chimed in like I always do, with answering your phone, writing things down. And a guy got on, and he said, "Feldman, I like you. I've listened to you a lot." I go, "Oh, great, nice." He says, "But I got to inform you something." I said, "Okay." He says, "I have a daughter, and she's very bright. She does great in school, and I got her a really nice phone. She's never made a call." I said, "I don't understand." He said, "All she does is text." And he told me something that shook me to the core. Everybody on this program, I'm not making this up. He said her grandmother, he didn't say whether it was his mother or his wife's mother, sent her a check. I don't know if it was for graduation or whatever it is. It was a big check. And she went to her father and said, "Dad, I have a problem with grandmom's check." "What?" He says, "Well, it's too big to deposit." He said, no problem. Get a deposit slip, go to the drive-through and deposit the check. She says, I'm going to call grandma and have her send me 2 more checks. So again, considering that nobody on this program is 18, I think sometimes I do, but maybe you guys don't. I forget that the gap between the people younger than us and older than us, just the fact that I couldn't wait to get my family was in the car business. I shouldn't admit this, but I was driving when I was 14. They needed another driver to go to NADA in Bordentown. Couldn't wait to drive. But again, it's a matter, it kind of dovetails into tech. We have to never forget who we're dealing with, and that just because you have an opinion on something doesn't mean it's universal. And that's why I always dovetail into being human, because as soon as we forget to relate and empathize with the people who we're dealing with, I think we're lost. Yeah. This is my wife, Russell, torturing me with a balloon. Oh, you know what? They can't say it. It's got the screen. My wife is I guess if you do that, so there, that's my birthday balloon. My wife's heavily into celebrating. She started in July. Got a heavy jump on. All right, so please.
Well,
And you guys wonder why I'm mentally unstable. Tone, I'm sorry. My wife, the balloon interrupted when I was.
No, you're good. But... Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
So,
are you done, my buddy? Should we jump to Russell Hill and then we'll go to our list of notables with Wendy and Durran and Mike Larkin and Jeff Scherer?
Listen, Larry, if you can still jump, go ahead. Jump to Russell. I can't jump anymore, but you can.
You had to watch me play tennis on Monday. I kicked everybody's butt, and you're musical. You would have loved it. I went to the net and I started jawing at the guy, and he said, "Shut up." I said, "Do you remember Michael Jackson?" Shut up. Said, "Remember the song, I'll be there, wherever you hit the ball, I'll be there." And I kept singing to him while he was hit. It's so easy to screw with people's heads. I'm sorry, Russell, go ahead before I start digressing down to Motown.
So, it's good to see everybody. Tony's a stud. Santa Claus is here too early. Hello, Santa Claus. Fred, miss you, brother. We'll see you soon. Wendy, you weren't in your room this morning, but it was there was more people in there than I've ever seen on Wednesday, just so you know.
Hey, Russell, forget about Santa Claus. Fred is way cooler. Okay. Yeah, Fred knows where to get the good burgers, okay, and hang out in Arizona. I can attest to that.
Yeah, it was great. So I have to say this, my first car I was so excited about was a 1969 Oldsmobile Delta 88. 4-door with a 350 short block in it, had glass packs on it. And I remember driving down the road with sunglasses at night, singing that song. So I wear my sunglasses at night. Okay. That has nothing to do with technology. There's Tony. He's got it. So listen, I heard this from Glenn Lundy. I use it all the time. Most of you have probably heard this, but from 1923 to 2023, how fast technology has evolved. In the next 5 years, it'll evolve that same 100 years. That's how fast it's moving. We're just, these are all these things that are happening are other ways that we can improve on the customer experience and meeting the customer where they're at. We're still going to do business because there is quoting Wendy, there's a human side to AI, and that's not ever going to change. I do believe that an opportunity is really not an opportunity when everybody thinks it is. They've already missed it. So all of us that interact and in the morning and at night and all this kind of stuff, we're the ones that are going to be way out ahead. I mean, you consider reading 15 to 18 minutes a day. It's about 100 hours a year. I mean, in 1 year, you're light years ahead of everybody else that's talking about AI, because all they're doing is talking and formulating these opinions. It's not going to overtake the human race, like what Peter said. That's not the way I believe God works anyway. So technology is great. I love it. It's a phenomenal tool, particularly to accelerate momentum you already have, but to create something that you don't have to use it is probably an accident waiting to happen. And then I would also preface, and I say this often, I think it's about 37% of the supposed AI out there is not even artificial intelligence. It's automated intelligence. And there's a big difference between the two. So we have to be really, I heard that this morning on the human side of AI. There's like no room for error, yet humans make errors all the time. We give them second chances and we're ready to punt somebody out. But see, a lot of people come in. I'm a vendor. I consider myself a vendor partner, but a lot of people I hear from a lot of the dealers, vendors come in and they overpromise and undercommit, and they fail to communicate some of the most important parts of it. A lot of it has to do with some of these people that are out pitching these products are not car people. And I got to tell you, me, because I ran stores and worked in retail for 16 years. If you don't talk our language and you don't understand, I know right away that you better do a damn good job of communicating.
Most also, it's just like when salespeople don't talk the lingo of the customer, and they talk over their heads.
Yep, I think it's anyway. I love technology. I'm an old guy, but I love it. I started out, on IBM punch machines and programming hexadecimal computers, very early on. Yet I have hardly any kind of education whatsoever, but I love it. I embrace it and I gravitate. I'm going to say this because this is one of the reasons I show up in Glenn Lundy's room every morning. He encompasses all the things that make who I am today a better person tomorrow, because there's only three things that dictate that: what you listen to, who you associate with, and what you read. That new input will dictate new output. And I get all of that in the morning, and I like starting my morning that way. And that's what I get from all of you. I love all of you. You're such an important part of my life, and I just wanted you to know that today.
Right back at you. Hey, we got Durran Cage on. Durran, if anybody's watching him on LinkedIn, he embraces technology. He's obviously part of BEV Electric with me and John Ellis, of course. But he also does commercials on LinkedIn, and everything he does, every video, embraces technology, but he never skips over being human. Durran, would you like to add something if you could unmute?
Absolutely. And I apologize, I'm not on camera. I'm driving it's the same thing. You guys know what I'm doing. Going to pick up a little lady who told me to tell everybody hi, and especially Larry, who she is absolutely in love with now. So,
okay.
But good to hear everybody's voices on here.
Is that because whoa.
Wait. What's scarier? Is it scarier to have Amazon tie-in with Hyundai, or to Durran to have Larry Feldman as his son-in-law? That's scary.
There we go.
Don't even have to think about that one.
Yeah, for sure.
They're probably the same height.
Yeah, probably.
I know, right? She will be soon. She's going to be tall like me for sure. But no, this is such a great conversation, and listening to everybody here speak, it's amazing to see. Look at what just happened in 2023, right? It was really the beginning of 2023, and this all kicked off. So it makes you think everything that we're talking about now, what will it look like in just 2 months from now, 3 months from now? We really don't know. But what we do know, and I think Peter said this earlier, I echo this, what salespeople in any dealership can do with the technology they have available now, as long as they can keep that human aspect in them, it's limitless to what they can do. So one example I would give to add on to this conversation, a hard part that I always struggled getting people to do was equity mining. That's a hard thing for people to do, but I love it with a passion. Every vehicle I bought for my family and my wife, I bought by calling a customer, emailing them, and getting them to come in. But to get salespeople to do that today, it's like pulling teeth. But now to think that you have an AI that you can train and teach to create personalized offers, use your greeting, use video to create the engagement. So then that way you can get that conversation going and say, hey, Larry, so I know you got the email from me recently. I wanted to connect with you about XYZ, but you don't have to do all that manual labor that all of us on this call, most of us had to do. So I think if people that are listening to this, if they can, and this is where Larry and I, we're really joined at the hip here, is if they can embrace the human element, but then the human element that takes up so much time on the backside of this, use that to help get them in touch with more customers. That's where this all wins, and it just keeps growing and growing.
So I got to ask you, Durran, why is it that way with salespeople like you were just talking about? What the heck is going on?
I can help with gratification. That they fell. Durran, tell the truth. They fell out of the stupid tree and hit every branch going down.
No, it's instant gratification, and I'm right there. You know, keep in mind, I'm a millennial on this. It's just I've got this old soul that got poured into me by my mom and my dad and some mentors that I've had. But most millennials and underneath that, the next one, when we want to do data equity mining, we want that customer to answer right now, and we want them to be in the market right now, and we want to transact yesterday. But that's not how it works. You and all of us on this call know that there's a relationship, there's an engagement. Now you will fall on those few people that you caught them at the right time, but most people you have to nurture. But that's where AI can come in and help with that nurturing, as long as it's been taught and trained the right way, and it's not just some bot that's just been thrown in there by some tech guru who just thinks that he understands our business. But that's one. I'd love to hear what everybody else has to say.
Do you mind if I add on to that with the equity mining service drive? I think
absolutely.
Salespeople 10 years ago were sold a bill of goods on that deal, and they were all convinced that it was the easy button, and you're going to be able to pick and know exactly who you can sell a car to, and you're going to be able to lower their payments. And after about 6 months of that deal, they realized that the low-hanging fruit went away, and then they had to get back into the grind. So I think they were sold a bill of goods, and everybody said it was going to be super easy, and it turned out after about 6 months it wasn't.
Yeah, but Tony, that you guys thought I was kidding when I talked about falling out of the stupid tree and hitting every branch. If you don't look at things as a long-term proposition, if you're not back in service in the morning where there's tons of customers, if you're not friendly with the service advisors, look what you're missing. It's just as crazy that they don't prospect, that they don't realize that every guys drive their Bentleys across town to save 3 cents on a gallon of gas. Who doesn't want that 100? And if you do it right, then they go back to the
okay. Hold on. I got to say something about the Bentley thing. Okay. That's called status. People like that are referred to as status. And I have an acronym for status. Still too arrogant to understand success. I'm just saying.
Okay. So I'm going to jump in
Peter, you better cancel the Bentley. Russell Hill's going to give us a bad time.
No, it's not the Bentley. It's driving across town for whatever it was, which is nothing.
No, that was to save 3 cents on gas, because nobody's cheaper than rich people. That's how they got rich.
Real quick, I got to jump.
Hey, stay healthy. And thanks for joining in, Tony.
Tony, see you at 4:30.
I got work to do, boys. Got work to do. See ya.
See you at 4:30, Betty.
Boys and girls, por favor.
Oh, there's my girl.
Hey!
We got Wendy and we got Martha. How about if we do them and then we'll jump to our longtime favorites like Larkin and Jeff Scherer. Go ahead, Wendy. And
sure. I just want to jump on for 1 second here, Larry. Yeah. A couple things that was discussed there that I just want to expand on. Customers only become. Oh no, it wasn't a super tree, but it's something similar to that. Customers will only become customers when they're heard. They have to be heard. And one of the biggest mistakes we make in this business is we don't understand that the customers control the process. The customers are always in control. They just go down our street, and we introduce them to everyone on the street. They're in control. They know when they want to stop. They know when they want to go. End of story. Once we start recognizing that, and if we go back to the equity mining part that Durran was talking about, in the United States, I was on a call 2 days ago, the lease penetration is hovering between 17 and 25% at dealerships. In Canada, it's over 70%. We have such a high lease penetration, it's incredible. Now, what that leads to is equity mining, and we are the kings of equity mining. That's one of the things we teach right off the bat, is how fast and how good we can get someone out of their car from their purchase point. If we look at that, the number one brand for it is Porsche. Porsche has their customers trading in their cars every 8 to 12 months in Canada and flipping. So it can be done, and we use technology to get there. So it's a very important thing to look at the facets that we can improve upon. And one of the things is, and I've been saying this for days on the calls, get your leasing penetration up in the States, because no one can afford a finance payment right now. And just engage that way.
Excellent. Wendy and Martha, please, we'd love to hear from you, fine ladies.
Gosh, I don't know where to begin. So my love and my thirst for education about AI knows no bounds.
Mhm.
And I've got personal experiences. I'm so fortunate, whether it's my virtual training or lately I've had a number of dealers. This is probably the third one in probably 4 months that I launched as far back as 10 years ago here in Killeen, Texas, the one I first installed 10 years ago. And long story short, when I worked with Greg Goebel and did his BDC portion of the client portfolio, and we launched with a simple process, right? And we converted leads, and they were mostly subprime, et cetera, et cetera. We had to sell appointments then. We couldn't become order takers like some did after COVID because of the availability and then inavailability and then over availability of vehicles. We went from selling appointments to turn it into an inventory call. If we don't have a car, don't bring them in, to now nobody knows what to do. So that said, yet again today, he called me in 10 days later because they've had so many cooks in the kitchen over the last 10 years that it doesn't even smell like we first installed that we ran with for 4 years. That was hugely successful. So my point is, I love the technology. I love the opportunity. I love learning more and more and more. And I'm looking for that niche thing that I can offer. Unlike, everybody with the outsourced BDCs, I'm sorry, I do it too, but it's because of the need. It's not because of my own desire to do that till I die, because I don't like micromanaging. I just don't like doing it. But that said, there's so many broken BDCs out there right now, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many broken processes and broken sales departments and broken everything. And the fact remains that we absolutely positively have to have the human side before we start putting band-aids on things, because of our inability to convert leads early on in the process, because we don't follow the work plans or for whatever reason. And then we think we get lazy because we know at day 10 or day 30, AI is going to kick in and they're going to re-engage and we're going to convert the leads that weren't the low-hanging fruit. In the meantime, we've had walk-ins or whatever. No, that's not going to happen. Because if you outsource and they do data mining for you, or you've got A or whatever, and you don't have the right person taking the ball, taking the handoff, taking the baton when AI engages, and they don't know what to do with it or where to go with it, you're going to create even a more sour taste in the customer's mind, because not only did you ignore their lead early on in the process, but now they finally allowed you to re-engage and you didn't earn the right to ask for anything because you dropped the ball again. Yeah. So get your house in order. This is an incredibly great time for each one of us on this call to do some training and some coaching, guys. Get some content, put it in writing. The reason, as eloquent as you are, Peter, the onboarding, I'm driving over here. How in the heck can I alleviate this problem moving forward with some of my old beloved dealer partners? And it's, you need to have people onboarding them. Very small snippet. They've got ProMax. They've had it for 10 years. They couldn't figure out the email import. They're going like this in ProMax. They're sending out emails. The email replies are coming into their Outlook. They're responding from Outlook. There's no record in CRM of the customer replies. They're just typing sent email through Outlook. They're not getting text replies in ProMax. So they're texting through Vonage, putting a note, texted through Vonage. This is 2023, you guys.
I mean, for heaven's sakes.
Was that at Career Changers?
No, sir. Hey, Martha, they're starting to pick on me. Let's hear some tech genius from my good and great friend, Martha.
Please.
Hello, Martha.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Really happy that I was able to make it today. As you guys can see, I'm home today. I'm not at work. That's what usually I'm not able to join. Really, really great conversation going on. I think, I just talked to someone at a dealership and we were talking about AI and reaching out to customers, and data mining, I think, is something that a lot of dealership has actually forgotten how to do. because we didn't really need to do it in the last 3 years, right? And one of the things that we're talking with this dealership is like a lot of the salespeople, a lot of the people on the floor are new and they don't even know how to talk to the customer that just submitted a lead yesterday. Let's talk to the customer that bought a car, right, a while ago. So it's so important. Like Wendy was saying, one of my sales manager came over on Saturday. She goes like, "Can I have a list of all of my customers that they're going to be out here on Monday on service?" And I go, "What for?" Because I'm going to have my sales team go ahead and follow up with them. Okay. I go like, "And what are they going to tell them?" And he's like, "Well," he said, "I know." I said, "Seriously, where are you going to have the salesperson tell these customers, the salespeople, that it's not able right now to communicate with the customer that is looking for a car? So how are you going to have them approach these customers?" Because I'm going to tell you one thing, whatever they say on the phone today or tomorrow is going to determine the relationship that we're going to have with them going forward in our sales or service department. And I go, and I've been working, my BDC has been working so hard to establish this relationship back on our service side that I don't really want to give it back that to the power to a salesperson to, break up my relationship with this client. So no, I go like, as like we can start training them and tell them what to say, because like you were saying, it's not about trying to sell them a car. Durran was saying, hit the right point. You got to develop this relationship. And a while ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, when I took over a leasing department at a dealership, that's exactly what I did. The reason why Perch may have a really good success is because you got to develop that relationship, but this is what happened. We have a customer that bought 4 years ago a vehicle. Okay. And now we're going to go into the, conquest, right? We're going to go and target them with a phone call, with the email. Do you want to sell? And this is what I tell my salespeople. Will you go and ask someone out that you went on a date 5 years ago? You took them out for dinner, right? You dropped them off at their house. You never called them ever again. And 4 years later, you'll be, "Hey, what's up? Let's go out again." And they all look at me like, "No, will you honestly do that?" Because that's exactly what we do in the sales department. So it's a lot. And now after the pandemic, I was talking also with this dealership today, is nurturing. And somebody said nurturing. Their relationship has to be at a higher level. You really need to connect with these customers. Now they have more options and they have higher expectations. They want to be catered. They want to be baby, like you got to baby these customers to develop that relationship. So coaching, training them, showing them, realizing that we need process, hold them accountable, making sure, and AI is going to be perfect for all of this by, like Wendy say, having that person there at the dealership ready to take the hunt off once the customer is ready. But it has to be someone that has also know which way to go. And you cannot do that with the script. Unfortunately, I'm not a BDC person that trains on scripts. Never liked them. I still remember the script that I was trained on 2000 when I joined the first BDC. I can recite that even if I'm sleeping, right? I don't train on scripts. Why? Because when that salesperson hits a roadblock, they don't know what else to do because it's
Hey,
not on the
Martha,
script.
but think of, I'm so in line with what you're saying. And think about, in a world where nobody communicates and you can't get anybody on the phone and they're robotic, how great is it if you sound like a human?
Oh my gosh, let's not do that.
It is, and there's so many good options right there. This person was telling me, well, I don't want my AI to sound like a bot or like a machine. I was like, no, there is a lot of really good technology out there right now that is able to establish a more human-like communication. You just need to train them and be patient, but also you need to make sure that that process is there. Otherwise, your AI is going to be as lost as you are.
Beautiful.
So I got to say something about that. So about 9 months ago, I got on Samsung. I'm an Android guy. Okay. But I got on Samsung to buy this phone. First thing that happened is a chatbot pops up, right? And my first inclination was to make it freak out and get me a live representative. 25 minutes later, I had to pause thinking, am I really talking to a real person or is this a bot? And it was a bot the whole time. but the way it engaged with me and kept me going. And then at the end, I was telling them, hey, I'm a veteran. Do you have any additional discounts? And then they made me an even better deal. And I bought it from a bot. It's incredible. It's out there. The technology, that was 9 months ago. We're 5 years ahead in the last 9 months with that technology. Don't you all think?
Well, Russell, I guess it's the right time to tell you that I, right now, am an AI creation. Okay. After I figured out how to use my garage door opener, I came into the kitchen with a whole bunch of shit, and here I am. I'm not really me. I mean, what normal person could be this demented?
You're augmented.
Whoa.
You're augmented.
Wait a minute. It's like calling up the devil in a satanic. I mentioned tech, and Tim Hayden shows up. Who's better?
Oh
than
my
Tim
goodness!
Tim, tell us some. We're talking about AI, how you can use it, how you cannot abuse it, and how you can be human. And boy, is it good to see you, my friend. I hope you had a healthy Thanksgiving. Enlighten us and elucidate, please.
Well, hey, and I'm sorry, I can't look you in the eyes right now, Larry, because I'm walking down the streets of Austin, Texas, after I just got through talking to a bunch of credit unions and banks about this right here. And I'm about to hop in an Uber, but I've got my AirPods in so nobody can hear the expletives that you offer while I answer your question. So here we go.
Wonderful. Perfect.
So here we go.
That's Russell, not Larry.
So here's the deal. I mean, I got to tell you guys, this is the exciting thing about what's going on right now. And my good friends at Google have told me this, is that artificial intelligence is here to amplify the human capacity. So if I heard your question right, Larry, this is about strategy, creativity, empathy, the things that we can do as humans that machines, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, are not going to be able to do. And I don't think are ever going to be able to do as well as we can.
But we can use their skills to augment what we can't do.
But that's exactly what it can do, is it can show us things. You know, one of the things we had talked about today is as a case in point, we have a regional bank right now that we are helping onboard a customer data platform. And this regional bank has got, I think, 30 locations. They've got 40,000 individual customers across those 30 locations. As we start to have all 55 of their systems talk to each other through the customer data platform, we have realized they have 55 billion records, 55 billion with a B records, right? That's what AI can do. AI can make sense of large amounts, large scale volumes of data, and then be able to make it into actionable insights that we humans can start to use in operations.
Wonderful.
Well said. Awesome.
Tim, I cannot tell you how good it is to see you, my friend. Russell, I always remark on it. Tim was kind enough to invite me to dinner with Joe Boris and Troy Scherer. I don't know how 4 human beings could have any more fun without getting locked up that night. Man, you talk about 4 guys enjoying each other's company. It was scary. So, Tim, thank you so much for making an appearance. If you're done, Tim, we got 2 of our best buddies, Mike Larkin and Jeff Scherer. Mike, Jeff, whoever wants to go first. And again, Tim, great to see you, as well as Martha.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Martha.
Thanks, Martha. A great show today on the human side of AI. I love that room. And thank you for inventing it. I mean, Wendy, you're the bomb.
I think Wendy's going to defer to April Simmons.
Wendy is the bomb.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys don't realize this, but but as I go home in my Uber and have dinner with my family, the first thing I do before the sun rises is I drive to go have breakfast with Wendy. That's what I'm doing.
That's what we're doing tomorrow.
Nice. Nice.
Does Fred know about this? Because he confided to me in Arizona. He thought she was stepping out. She always came back with a curious smile after breakfast. You know, I would never want to start any trouble on my show.
You just did, Larry. Now. Yeah, right?
Oh, you're an angel, Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, remember, Tim, even a genius like you could never invent AI to be as annoying as Larry felt.
Hey, on that note, Tim's getting coal in his stocking.
Okay, we interrupted my good friend Mike Larkin. Mr. Larkin, please.
Hey, buddies. Okay, so I see it as AI as we're in the phase of communication. AI is learning to communicate. So that's right now is what to communicate. That's communication is what I learned from one of my heroes in life, my mom, because she came over from Ireland and she didn't think anybody would understand her accent, but we all did. And was like, oh, how cute. My dad taught me regrets, and AI is going to learn to data mine. It's not there yet, but to your point, Martha, it's going to learn how to go back into a CRM and pull back those customers, whether they want to buy a new car or whether they're going to get them back to service, or whether they want to sell their car, whatever. But it's to the regret. I only think that AI cannot do is have integrity. Integrity, I define it as doing something that's right when nobody's looking. I don't know how AI can look in the mirror, the old Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror. I don't see how AI can look in the mirror and have integrity. I don't see that happening, but maybe I'm wrong. The future's looking bright, because on the communication part, that's where our agency is now, is we've combined now the old PowerPoint presentations, which are boring,
Yeah.
and the Excel presentation, which is number crunching. And we've combined those, and with a press of a button, I can develop a map and show the numbers in real time, but go step by step onto a process. And it's communication at its utmost. I can train it one-on-one or one-to-many, and everybody's on the same page. So, like I say, the communication is the first part of this.
Hey, last but certainly not least, my good friend Jeff. Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Good evening, all. I think the one thing that's missing and we haven't talked about, and why we need AI, is because of lack of effort. I think salespeople can be lazy. Certainly the COVID people, not because of their disposition, but because of the business model. They didn't have to sell. But, technology aside, why aren't more dealers data mining? It's not that hard to do, and Peter and I have talked about this kind of at length, but I want to use AI and technology to do the things that salespeople won't do. Habits are hard to change. And we can tell people all day long, oh, you got to do follow-ups. And they're cutting and pasting left message in the CRM, right? Who knows? But, it's just because they want the easy sale, and you can't blame them for that, but I don't think they're willing to put forth the effort.
Right.
And great point that Martha made, you got to keep stoking that fire after that guy drives his first car from you, right? And it's better to have a Wendy and team call up 3 years later when the guy hasn't gotten anything but an email on his birthday from your dealership. It's probably better for Wendy's team to approach that, because the salesman's embarrassed.
Yeah, but the best, Jeff, is
talked to you
to
in
train
3
these people the right way. And as I always say, to handle them as annuities, not as annoyances, and realize that these people can be mined themselves. They go places. People ask them about their car. If you treat them and exceed their expectations, they can't wait to say, boy, I got the nicest car salesperson on earth.
Well, and again, I'm embarrassed to call Peter if I hadn't talked to him for 3 years. He may not even remember me. but
yeah, well, he hasn't
No.
called me in 3 years.
He actually mentioned that, Jeff, angrily to me before the call, and I was going to mention it, but the overwhelming scandal of Tim Hayden and Wendy kind of overrode it. I try to keep this on an even keel. It's not easy with this cast of characters.
No,
Hold on now.
if I had a relationship with somebody and it was 3 years before they reached back out to me and I got along with him or her really good, the experience for the most part at least met my expectations, maybe part of it exceeded my expectations. And then you called me 3 years later, there's been no deposits at all during that 3 years, and you want to make a withdrawal? Are you kidding me? That is that I feel violated.
And even if
wait, and not only violated, we're back to the stupid trade. Who's better to ask for business than somebody that already bought from you that you've taken care of? Wendy's got her hand up. Go ahead, Wendy.
Yeah. So whether it was Tony's gone, I don't know if anybody else was in the All Things Car Biz. I think Russell was there this morning.
Yeah.
When Billy Sherm was talking about how his manager gave him a list of dozens of customers that hadn't been followed up on with cell phone numbers and said, here, call these people. And then the second example would be one of my current stores here in Arizona that I'm working. And even the current one, I talked about data mining. I said, when we get them back onto process, we need to start doing some data mining. Well, I think we got the sales guys doing that. So what it is
whoa, Wendy, that's still not the stupidest. The stupidest answer is still, what's that guy doing? Oh, he's just here for service, boss. Don't worry about him.
But my point is that they're not compiling any data on the results of their outreach. So what are they gaining by giving them a piece of paper, and why? Because they don't have BDC or anybody qualified enough. And I go, well, do they know what? Yeah, I gave them a bunch of scripts to use. That's the mindset with a lot of our DMs today. Sorry, no.
Hey, Tim Hayden. Hey, Jeff, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Tim Hayden is in an Uber and he's got his hand up and he's got his earpods in. Let's hear what he has to say, and we'll jump back to you, Jeff.
And I'm just gonna throw a quick book into what Jeff said, what you said, Larry, what Wendy was just saying, right? I mean, listen, this is what artificial intelligence can do so wonderful. This is what a customer data platform, if it's implemented correctly, that's the challenge, is it can dig deep in what we call in the data business, dark data. Those people that bought cars from you 6 years, 10 years ago, they have a certain level of trust in you. You may have ruined that in the past, but you have something of residual to reach back out to those folks. There's wonderful things it can do with predictive analytics and everything else. But the problem is most of the CDPs in the auto industry, let's be honest, are all wrapped up at the top of the funnel. They're all about retargeting. They're all about helping you, do whatever you got to do to get people to come to the lot to test drive a car just because they were trolling Auto Trader. I mean, the jam is what you already said, Larry. There are hundreds of people, and for many dealers, it's tens of thousands of people that have invested in you in the past. And those are the people you should just pick up the phone and call them. You just should.
Tim, it's the lowest hanging fruit.
Lowest hanging fruit. Okay. Yes.
And
I'm just going to jump. Let me just jump in, Jeff, because it's going to segue right to you. So in my conversations with all of you on the panel, I've had many, many conversations for hours and hours and hours. Tim and I have come to the conclusion in our conversations, and we'll agree, data is currency. That is what it is. That is absolutely the currency moving forward. It's not money, it's data. Data is going to drive the money to our dealerships. Second of all, we have to have the intelligence from that data. Now, CDPs are going to do it, and Jeff's system is going to do it, because Jeff's system, like a CDP, is on a different platform using a remarkable system that actually you can ask questions to, and it's going to pull that information back out. So, i.e., we can turn around and say, okay, Thanksgiving. Okay, how many people actually talked about Thanksgiving in the last 30 days on phone calls? How many people talked about Black Friday? Are we targeting those people exactly for those targeted sales? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Jeff's system can do it. Jeff's system can also turn around and say, hey, what are our 5 biggest pain points? He can pull them. And he knows them, and they're factual information, and it's from data. It's pulled from data. So data is the currency moving forward. We have to train our people to understand data so that we can actually manipulate our processes, not manipulate the customers, but manipulate our processes to service our customers so that they can be heard and then they can be converted. And that's,
by the way, Peter is not exaggerating. Jeff's system is unbelievable. And that when it's even clear to a non-techie like me, that shows you how simplistic and simple and perfect this system is. Jeff, I'm sorry we interrupted you 9 times.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead, please.
Two things I'd like to finish with. So Tim's points were great, but that's kind of, okay, how do we start business tomorrow, right? We now moving forward, cars we sell tomorrow and next week and next month, we're going to stay in touch with those people as human beings. Don't rely on your CRM just to spit out useless, communication.
Useless.
So secondly, what do we do, with our current DMS, the cars we sold in the last 3 years? Now, granted, a lot of people are tanked, because they sold it for, 10 grand over, with market value, what have you. But, we shouldn't ignore them. We should at least take a swing at them. And point being, like, the AI technology, and thank you, Peter and Larry, for teeing that up, but like my system can actually call the salesperson in 3 months and say, hey, you have a reminder call to call Peter Smith and, also talk about the Buffalo Bills. I mean, we could get to that point where, and Peter only has to press one button on his phone to call Larry and talk about the Buffalo Bills. So he doesn't have to look up the number or anything. I mean, that's what AI can do when it's used properly as a tool.
Right.
It's a supplement. And Tim said it, it's
Hold on. Tim's got his hand up again. And I just want to say before Tim comes on, I am also working on a system for these people that are $10,000 flip. It involves gap insurance and parking your car at Newark Airport. Just call me offline and I'll explain it. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, what about LaGuardia? Help me out there, would you?
Oh,
Yes,
no.
sir. Go ahead, Tim.
No. I didn't mean to have my hand up. If I did, I was just trying to give a big thumbs up to Jeff.
There you
This
go.
this is what AI is here for. This is why you're starting to have enterprise customer data platforms come and talk to the large dealer groups. And this is why, I'll just throw it out there real quick. This is why a tool and Peter and the guys at Orby are trying to tell everybody is just, hey, get your data together so you can do this. You can do this at scale, right? So there's a lot of players, and it's going to take a village. It's going to take all of us to do this and to play nice together to make it work.
And last thing I wanted to say, so I actually had 3 things. What salesperson, Larry and team, ever went up to his boss and say, boss, I need more accountability? I need somebody to make sure I'm doing everything you asked me to. Nobody's ever said that, and that worked the next day.
Jeff, that's because the bad salespeople can't be held accountable because they're fighting their own motives, and good salespeople hold themselves accountable. Rhonda will smile because I hired somebody to answer the phone when I can't answer it and to handle the emails. So I'm not, but I swear to you, every other call I take, and I'm still constantly looking at my emails because I don't care what it is. If you can't measure it, if you can't account for it, it can fall away from you. But again, it seems like we've got the perfect marriage on this program because we got some of the brightest tech guys that are out there. And you got a guy like me that barely can turn on his computer but can make you smile. If we can meld that together, okay? I heard what you said about gathering data, but the most impressive thing you said, Jeff, was we can talk about the Buffalo Bills. To this day, I ask in every class I teach, what do you say to the guy that says, I only have 10 minutes, I got to go watch my son play ball? And only 1 out of 10 say, what does your son play?
Yeah, you better be talking about that.
Yep. If we're not talking about, listen, Russell Hill, everybody respects him. Tim Hayden, guy's brilliant. Why are all you on my show? I don't have one intelligent thing to say. But when you hang up, you smile and you go, that was fun. If it ain't fun, if it's not connected, if it's not empathetic, you're cooked.
Yeah. I got
Go ahead, Russell.
So here's what I want to say. I've been sitting here. It's 7:00. I've been sitting here since 4:30 this morning, doing this, and it's time to spend the last hour of my evening with my beautiful, gorgeous wife. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say, please make sure we all say happy birthday Friday to Larry. And if you can, join me because I'm going to be live with Brooke Furness at 12:00 Central Time on LinkedIn. I'd love to have you all there to participate and join and etc. Other than that, I love each and every one of you and have a wonderful evening. Larry and Peter, thank you. Rhonda, thank you for all you do. Jeff, Mike, Wendy, Fred, Martha, Durran. I mean, you guys are amazing.
Agreed.
And gals, excuse me.
Say hi to April for us, Russell.
I will. Good night, everybody.
Good
Everybody
night.
stay healthy. We'll see you I'll see you tomorrow on Brooke's show, and we'll see everybody.
No. That's
Wednesday.
Friday.
Listen, I'm elderly. I got a birthday coming. I mix up the dates. I
You
forget
do.
the grandkids' names. I
Yeah,
have
for
to
two
lean on
for
Fred
two more
for a
days.
hamburger.
For 2 more days, we're the same age. Peace.
There we go. Everybody stay healthy. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll see everybody next week. Fred,
Happy
have a great
birthday,
day, my
Larry.
friend.
Woohoo.
Happy birthday, Larry. Take care.
Happy birthday.
Barely, Larry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ciao for now, guys.
everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
lovely